Good morning, everyone. Oh, I like that. You guys are way more alert than I am. I don't know if many of you were up at 5:30 like me for the game, but kudos to all of us for being here. If you're new to the Unitarian Church, you know that we don't often talk about God and Jesus, but today during our silent candles, I will likely be lighting a candle for our McJesus and his broken heart this morning. So, good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Church of Edmonton. My name is Brandy Muller-Reed, my pronouns are she and her, and I get the privilege of being your service leader today. I will be joined by our minister, Reverend Rosemary, and we do hope you feel welcome here. I know we do have a few announcements before we begin, so I think Maria and Declan and Reverend Rosemary and Karen, so I will turn the mic over to them.
Good morning. My name is Maria Odekirk, and along with my husband Clinton, I am part of the hospitality team here at the church. We have kind of started a tradition of second Sunday potlucks here at the church, and once again, the March one I think is pretty early because February has 28 days this year, doesn't it? So it makes it the same number as it was last month, which means that the second Sunday in March is the 8th of March. Now, fun with technology, I currently do not have a device that talks to printers. So we're going to coordinate, we're going to get some sign-up sheets for next week because we are going to need some people to help with setup so that it's not Clinton and Tony moving all the furniture again, because that happened last month. And we're also going to need some help with cleanup after the potluck, which is always a bit of a harder sell. So please be prepared to help out as much as you can. And we will have some food to share after church on the 8th of March. Thank you.
Good morning. My name's Karen Mills. My pronouns she or her. And it's not a potluck Sunday, but there is food. Hint, 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 it's a bit of a bribe. We have not updated the strategic plan of UCE since 2016, and as you might know, a few things have happened in the world in the last 10 years, and a lot of things have happened in this congregation in the last 10 years, and so it's time for a refresh. And so I am inviting all of you here and online to stay after the service. We're going to have a very brief presentation and then invite you to share your visions and your dreams and your big ideas for what we should do as a congregation in the next 3 to 5 years. So there will be, immediately after the service, a salad bar set up in Keeler Hall. I'd invite you to go out, get yourself some salad, come back in here for a presentation. Well, that'll be really short, but just to give you some background and some context for what we're going to talk about. And then back into Keeler Hall, there will be an ice cream sundae bar, and because we can't have all healthy food. And then find yourself a seat at a table. There will be 2 tables in here, 3 tables in Keeler Hall, and we will talk about your great ideas.
Hello there. My name is Declan Kiley. My pronouns are he and she, and I'm here to tell you about the movie night. I'm a little late this month, but we've still got a movie going on. We have a monthly movie night here in the sanctuary. It's for free, and we include a discussion that is related to our Soul Matters theme of the month. This month, our theme is resilience, so I chose the movie Pom Poko to go with that. If you're not familiar, it's a Studio Ghibli animated film. We'll be watching the English dubbed version, so it will have English audio. And I think it's cute and silly, and also like very heartfelt, kind of devastating. I love it. That will be this Friday, February 27th at 6 p.m. here in the sanctuary. Bring a snack and a drink, and come watch a movie with us.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Oh, that is nice. Yeah, you're right. I like that. My name is the Reverend Rosemary Morrison. My pronouns are she and her, and it is, as I often say, my honor and privilege to serve this congregation, the Unitarian Church of Edmonton. There's a lot going on, and I'm going to talk about food again. And so this Wednesday, so there's 3 opportunities to eat food with your fellow congregants this week. Today, after church, on Wednesday, my mic's probably muted. On Wednesday at 3 Vikings, just around the corner here, is our monthly UU's on Tap gathering. And it's basically people come and get to know one another. It's kind of like we're just going out for dinner together and having some good conversation. There's no program. We're just going out to have some fun and in a relaxed, informal place. I'd like to greet everyone that is here online and ask you, there's a section in the message where you'll need to have a pen and paper. So if you would like to get yourselves a pen and paper ahead of time. Another opportunity to eat and have fun is on the last day of March, or pardon me, the last Saturday in March, March 28th. Right, but I want to talk about March 28th. Giving you lots of notice. People are saying, what are you talking about this stewardship thing? What does stewardship mean? Stewardship means canvas. Canvas means stewardship. It's the same thing. I'm used to saying stewardship. You're used to saying canvas. So I will change because you outnumber me by a long shot. So at the end of March, we're going to have a canvas wind up spaghetti dinner and goods and services auction. Please stay tuned. I'll have sheets next week for you to fill in to offer things for our auction. We have a team of about 6 people that are going to be providing food. If you'd like to join that team, you are welcome. And things that you could think about donating, a barbecue in the summer. So you would provide the food and and then you would provide all of the food and beverages, and then people would bid on that. So they might bid $50 for like a barbecue, but the money goes to the church, right? So you're not gonna. It's a kind of a. I'm making it sound not very attractive. It'll be fun. I promise. It'll be fun. It's a way of raising money in a really fun way for the congregation. And I'm working on getting some entertainment as well, so that'll be really fun. I don't think, during the service as well, I'm going to be asking folks to greet their neighbor and there's 2 cameras. Mike, are they both working? So I'd like you to also look at those cameras and maybe wave at the people online as well. If you look here, they can't see you. So during the Greet Our Neighbors time, those are the cameras to greet our neighbors that are online. I think that's it.
So if you're new here, Unitarians are highly motivated by food. Just a hot tip. The Unitarian Universalist faith is a creedless community dedicated to a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. We embrace a pluralist philosophy, opening our hearts and minds to the diverse ideas, feelings, and expressions of our world community. Whatever your heritage, whatever your faith, whomever you love, however you identify, you are welcome here today. We gather today with gratitude as uninvited guests on Treaty 6 land. A treaty is an inheritance, a responsibility, and a relationship. May we be good neighbors to one another, good stewards to our planet, and good ancestors to all our children. And now I ask you to take a moment to ensure all your cell phones and noise-emitting devices are silenced, and we will open a service with a prelude by Karen Mills. Thank you. As is our tradition in the Unitarian Church, we open our service with our chalice lighting. This morning, I've asked Ruth Marriott to light it for us. She is a force next to Andrew on our finance committee and helps to keep us organized and functioning. Chalice. Oh, see how good she is. She finds money in the unusual places, so she's found a dime for us. The chalice lighting today is called The Work That Takes Time by Reverend Michelle Collins. We kindled this light for the work that takes time, the seeds unseed and rooting, the tides patient carving, the small turning of heart toward open ground. We look towards what is slow and true, the steady flame that sustains our days. Thank you, Ruth. Our opening hymn this morning is number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. The text is behind me, and I ask you to stand as you are willing and able to join in singing hymn 361.
As I mentioned earlier, we're going to have a moment to greet our neighbors. And I'm going to ask you to do it in a particular way. We have lots of new folk here, and lots of folk that have been coming here for decades that are here. So I would like you to find one person that you know and greet them. You just say hi. And one person you don't know, and greet them and introduce yourself. And this is going to make some of us very nervous. And so you don't have to do it. Like, seriously. You got a right to pass. You don't have to do this. You don't have to get up. You don't have to do anything. You can, I was going to do a Bridgerton thing, but no, I'm not going to. Being like kind of a wallflower. So, on the count of 3. Those that wish to greet your neighbor, and someone you know, and someone you don't know, and someone online. 1, 2, 3, go.
Yeah, right? So, reigning in Unitarians is always fun. It's like herding cats, yes, Audrey says. The work of this church is self-sustaining for our programs and that. And so this is a time where we share our abundance. And for the month of February, we are sharing our abundance with the Canadian Unitarian Council. The CUC is our national office, which helps us to build not only interfaith communities within Canada, but also strengthen ties with other UUs internationally. Their mission is to foster, support, and connect Unitarian and UU communities in Canada. The CUC provides us with a wealth of support, info, and guidance. And we will take the collection. And as we receive the offering, I ask you to join in singing "From You I Receive." Hopefully your singing voices aren't worn out, because our next hymn is number 30, "Over My Head." The text, yep, there it is, right behind me. So again, I ask you to join in body and spirit, as you're willing and able, to sing hymn number 30, "Over My Head." We just take it off the screen, it doesn't exist. And now we've approached the point in the service where you get to listen to me ramble for a little bit with my service leader reflections. So today's service, why is change so hard? When I asked Google, because I always start that way, I was given the scientific answer of, our brains are wired for safety and predictability. Anything new feels like a threat, so we resist, even when the change is good for us. That makes sense, but it doesn't make it easier. Besides the trusty interwebs, there are endless books and resources on change. Entire positions within organizations, for change consultants hired to guide organizations through major shifts. That's because change is that hard. Personally, for me, change at work has always been a little bit easier, but change in my personal life, well, that one's a little tougher, isn't it? Years ago, I was pretty unhappy with my life. I knew what I should do to make myself happier, but man, I had a million excuses as to why I couldn't. One book I really wish I had found earlier, I brought with me, is 101 Essays That Will Change the Way You Think by Brianna Wiest. She's not a professional, just someone passionate about transforming thought patterns, so take her advice with a grain of salt as you will. The book centers on essays mostly on how to change your thinking in order to change your life. However, one essay really stood out to me for today. Essay 12, The Knowing-Doing Gap, Why We Avoid Doing What's Best for Us, and How to Conquer Resistance for Good. The knowing-doing gap was coined by Jeffrey Pfeiffer and Robert Sutton and describes knowing the right thing to do, but doing something else entirely anyway. Wiest argues the real question isn't what should we do, it's why we choose not to. Understanding the fabric of resistance, she states, is the only way we can unstitch it. Well, that hit home for me. That was me. I knew what I needed to do. I didn't have the action. Eventually, I had to unstitch my own resistance. So why do we resist? Our brains prefer predictability because it's known and familiar. Our brains are hardwired to keep us safe. Not happy, not fulfilled, safe. To our brains, change equals uncertainty, which equals a potential threat. Wiest further argues that our modern society doesn't really help. Comfort and security are often sold as the ultimate goals, but comfort keeps us stuck. When life isn't predictable, our brains respond with anxiety, hesitation, overthinking, and worst-case scenarios. You see, it's just biology that you think that. To overcome resistance, we suggest reframing discomfort. Focus on discomfort of staying where you are, not the discomfort of changing. It's a pretty simple shift, but it's a powerful one. Wiest warns that if left unchecked, the knowing-doing gap can drain your potential, sabotage relationships, paralyze productivity, and trap you in indecision. You have to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. What life will look like, Maria, if you do the thing or don't do the thing. We all want clarity, growth, improvement, opportunity, but without the vulnerability, uncertainty, or work. Because change also requires effort. And worst of all, cognitive effort. New habits, routines, and ideas require energy. Familiar patterns are easy. Change asks us to stretch, learn, and consciously choose different habits. Change for me meant working harder, going back to school, and just overall trying to look forward instead of backward. And lastly, change can also come with loss. Even positive change means leaving behind comfort, routines, expectations, and sometimes identities we've outgrown. Who am I going to be if I'm no longer X, Y, or Z? There's grief in that transition, too, not just tragic life events. I had to let go of things I thought were important to me, but no longer served a purpose in my life. I had to take time to grieve the endings, to leave behind things that weren't horrible, but no longer fed my soul. And I had to leave behind some of who I thought I was. This type of change really forces self-reflection on our values, fears, boundaries, what isn't working in our lives, and whom we may have outgrown. So Wiest challenges us. If you had to live today on repeat, what sort of life would you be leading? What would you accomplish? How happy would you be? What relationships would you have fostered? Will you have missed out on the love of your life, a new job opportunity, because you weren't ready? What about hours that could have been spent doing what you enjoy? Where will they have gone? The truth is, you will never feel fully ready. And waiting widens that knowing-doing gap. Fear grows there too. Fear of failure, regret, being judged, or making the wrong choice. Most of the time, the change we want is simply the truest expression of who we already are. And most things aren't as hard as we've chalked them up to be. Change feels personal, because it is. It reshapes our identity, expectations, relationships, and internal narratives. It's not change that's hard. It's you, changing you, your habits, your identity, your path. That's what takes the courage. And small steps matter. It's easier to act your way into a new way of thinking than to think your way into a new way of acting. I want to say that again. It's easier to act your way into a new way of thinking than to think your way into a new way of acting. So do one little thing today and build that momentum. Learn to be comfortable with less. Eventually, I stopped making excuses. I faced the fears that Louise describes, let go of what weighed me down. I returned to school as a single mom and worked full-time, shifted careers, and redefined my relationships. None of it was easy, but it was all absolutely worth it. That's it. We will enter a time of meditation now on that.
Before I do that, I kind of want to give a little bit of an explanation of the last hymn. So this month is Black History Month. So a lot of the music that I have chosen for this service could be African-American spirituals, or I have the meditation music is a song by Melanie Demore, a Black soulful singer, a beautiful piece that I may have played here before. And then the song that we just sang over my head is going to be the postlude being played by Sister Rosetta Tharpe, who was a gospel singer in the 30s and 40s and is considered to be the godmother of the blues and rock and roll. And she was the first one to bring electric guitar into, bring electric guitar into her into kind of gospel playing. And she was the first person to have a hit using a gospel song. She comes from a Pentecostal background. Anyways, I didn't change the words because so many of African American spirituals are centered on Jesus and God, and that's because they were in such suffering and crying out with their hearts to God, or to an entity that could help them in their suffering. So I think it's really respectful to leave some of that religious language in the songs to honor that history and that tradition of African American spirituals. And now, by invitation, I invite you to place your feet on the ground. Feel the ground beneath your feet, if you choose. There's much imagery to grab onto, and I will read it again in case an image gets by you too quickly. Lost, by David Wagner. Stand still. The trees ahead and the bushes beside you are not lost. Wherever you are is called here. And you must treat it as a powerful stranger, must ask permission to know it and be known. The forest breathes. Listen. It answers. I have made this place around you. If you leave it, you may not come back again, saying, here. No two trees are the same to raven, no two branches are the same to wren. If what a tree or a bush does is lost on you, you are surely lost. Stand still. The forest knows where you are. You must let it find you. A moment of silence. Lost. The trees stand still. The trees ahead and bushes beside you are not lost. Wherever you are is called here. And you must treat it as a powerful stranger. Must ask permission to know it and be known. The forest breathes. Listen, it answers. I have made this place around you. If you leave it, you may come back again, saying, here. No two trees are the same to raven. No two branches are the same to wren. If what a tree or a bush does is lost on you, you are surely lost. Stand still. The forest knows where you are. You must let it find you. In a moment of silence, and when you are ready, some music. Sending you light, to heal you, to hold you. Sending you light. For when change happens, which it does every single day in our lives, we need each other, don't we? We need to be sent light. We need to be somebody to talk with, somebody to give us a hug. Tell us that they care. We cannot do it alone. That's why it's so wonderful to be part of this community, is because all of us are going through change, and change is hard. Thank you for your wonderful service leader reflection. Spot on, as usual. So we are in liminal time right here, right now. The poet says, if you are lost, though, stand still. The forest knows where you are. Let it find you. The forest could be anything, couldn't it? It could be your family. It could be your daily walks. It could be your gym partner. It could be the person you play piano duets with. It could be anything. The forest knows you. There are people around you that know you, your forest. Or maybe a literal forest, maybe where you get your courage and your sustenance is actually from the forest. I know it helps me. So I don't know about you, but I find so much comfort and courage in those meditation words by David Wagner and also by Melanie D'Amour's song, knowing that light is being sent to me and to you and to all of us, to hold you, to care about you. Things to me and perhaps to you too seem to be moving so quickly. I read Heather Cox Richardson every day, and it's like thing after thing after thing after thing that is shocking, that is changing. Is there tariffs? Aren't there tariffs? What are the tariffs? Who is doing what now, to where, and to whom? And what bill is being passed? It is so hard to keep up. So because they're moving so quickly, sometimes I just want to stop and let the forest find me. My forest will be very different from your forest. We are indeed living in liminal times. First of all, I want to encourage everyone that what can to stay after for talking about the strategic plan here, because we are in change. We are in flux. We are in liminal times, but let's do it in such a way that we know what we're actually doing and where we're going. So like that saying, if you don't know where you're going, you're not going to get there. So I want to encourage you to stay for that. With Karen Mills and the rest of the governance advisory team, GAT as they are called, and this is the team formerly known as GET, or GIT, as in get her going. Get her going, yeah. So they were the team that started during the transition time between Reverend Brian and myself to start working on all of that governance and things. All those very, very important things. It is important to understand that living in liminal times is stressful. So because we are no longer back there where our memories have fooled us into thinking everything was great. That memory of nostalgia. Oh, if only we could be doing that again. If only we were like that again. But our memories fool us into thinking it was awesome. Back then we had complaints and criticisms too, right? About everything in our life. So, we wish that things would just settle down and get normal. What's normal? As they say, it is a setting on a dryer. And so no one knows, and saying that we want things to get back to normal is actually probably a pretty dangerous thing for a congregation. For if we decide we want to go back to normal, we are missing the value and gift of the liminal time that we are actually in. Have you ever heard of change theory? You talked about it a bit. Mm-hmm. Theory of change is a methodology or a criteria for planning, participation, adaptive management, and evaluation that is used in companies, philanthropy, not-for-profit, international development, research, government sectors to promote social change. Theory of change defines long-term goals and then maps backwards to identify necessary preconditions. So that was from Wikipedia, obviously not my word. And I don't usually talk like that. Hang on, I need a little drink. Well, that all sounds really easy, doesn't it? We can just change, right? Overnight. Nope. Well, as soon as any steps are taken, there are forces and voices that try to push back. I liked it the way it was. If only we could do this instead. Remember when? If we grow, then it won't feel the same. Like, why do we need a blank, fill in the blank anyway? I don't want to pay for that program. There is that missing middle part where everything falls apart or turns into goo like the caterpillar does during metamorphosis. Complete goo. There's nothing in the cocoon that looks like a butterfly or looks like a caterpillar. Sorry, I can't get this in exactly the right place. That's where it gets scary. It's where we lose our footing, shape, and texture. Remember the story of the Israelites? Remember, it's a biblical story. Who cried out to be saved from bondage while they were in Egypt. Those were the same folks who, after being in the messy middle part, cried out to be returned to Egypt, for at least they got fed there. Right? So that's part of the story of being in liminality. It's so uncomfortable that the Israelites wanted to go back to Egypt, where they were in bondage. That's the story. And we have to remember that most of these stories are indeed stories. The story of the Israelites has been used often and by many, and myself more than once, as a metaphor for change. We don't like our situation. It's uncomfortable. We feel like we are in bondage of some kind and we need out. We wander around for 40 minutes or 40 days or 40 nights or 40 years and finally figure it out or not. And sometimes there's even a change in leadership. Carrying the metaphor further, in the messy middle we get hungry. We get tired, disillusioned, forlorn, anxious, all of the yucky things. And then if we're lucky, all that trial and error begins to show us the way. Sometimes in my life, when I have been going through change, the path was decided by the doors and windows that closed for me, or that refused to open in the first place. Okay, I'm not going that way, it looks like. I'll be going this way instead. So it is with trial and error, just like science, discovering what works and what doesn't, being brave when we're in the messy middle, and relying on each other, those that send us light, those that are our trees in the forest of life. They'll let us know where we are. Those people that are our trees, those things that are our trees, they will remind us of who we are and where we are. For in community, we are not lost. It is not just things here at UCE that has changed. Life itself is moving at such a very fast pace. This can be ungrounding and unsettling. We are indeed in liminal times. And from Reverend Dr. Susan Beaumont's book, Leading When You Don't Know Where You're Going. It's a great book. She says, a liminal organization needs to unlearn old behaviors, challenge the status quo, experiment, take risks, and learn. Liminality fuels ambiguity and disorientation. Organizational life is full of liminal experiences, seasons where something has ended, but a new thing has not yet begun. Liminal seasons are challenging, disorienting, and unsettling. We strive to move forward with purpose and certainty. Instead, we feel as though we are trudging through the mud, moving away from something comfortable and known towards something that can't yet be known. Liminal seasons are also exciting and innovative. And that's what you're going to be doing after the service, is that exciting and innovative part, because then you get to use all your big brains and figure this out. The promise of a new beginning unleashes creative energy, potential, and passion. All great innovations are incubated in liminality, she says. End of quote. So let's stop for a moment and think about all the liminal times in your life. It could be congregational life, the time between one minister and the next. Personal life, the time between not being a parent and being a parent. I'm in a liminal time of getting used to having 3 grandsons instead of 2. And my boy is now a man with a boy of his own. That's a huge change for me in the way that I need to think about my own son. A time or our organizational restructuring at your place of work, perhaps. That's a liminal time. Or perhaps even the time when a person is in a relationship and then the relationship begins to end and then it ends. Painful, liminal time. So what are some of the feelings we are in during those liminal or unsettled times? Can you hearken back and write? Everybody should have a piece of paper. You want to grab your papers online? Folks online, if you want to grab your piece of paper. If you do not have a piece of paper, there is more at the back. Thanks, Mike. There's more at the back, as well as pens and pencils in a basket at the back. All right. So I'll just finish up with the instructions, and then you can start moving and looking and things. So, can you hearken back and write some of the feeling words on your piece of paper to how you felt during those liminal times? Or perhaps you are in a liminal time right now. How are you feeling? What are some of those feeling words that you can think of that come up for you when you think of being in transition or in liminal times? And for those of you on the Zoom, I invite you to write them on your piece of paper as well. And then you can put them into the chat if you're online, those words, if you so desire, or just keep them for yourself. That's fine. So I invite you to just sit and contemplate the times in your life where you have experienced liminality, and then just to write down some of those feelings that come up for you. You've got a couple of minutes for this exercise.
I'm unmuted. Why am I unmuted?
I honestly don't know. I'm the host and I didn't ask anyone to unmute.
Yeah, I'm unmuted too. They probably
So
want us to
apparently-
talk about, what we wrote about here.
Okay,
Well,
so I wrote down uncertain about my ability to adapt.
I wrote anxiety, fear, excitement, numbness, dissociation.
You followed instructions. Those are single words. Good for you.
I think I'd have to say unheard. The sound again for me this week is just up and down. You know, it's like so many of the sentences in almost like making an aside rather than speaking to. I'm not hearing it well.
I keep thinking it depends if the change is one I have engineered, created, chosen, or one that has befallen me without my choice. When I have chosen it, I'm much more into excitement and anticipation and good feelings with some fear. When it's not my choice, I'm much more afraid and dejected.
Like I said,
Other responses?
Just agreeing with what everybody else has said.
Anxiety, excitement, feeling creative, feeling grief.
Mm-hmm.
Relieved is one thought for me because, you know, something's coming, but nothing's happening yet. And finally, when things happen, well, at least I've got a direction to start focusing and heading on.
Yeah. Yeah, good point, Helen. Any others?
When you're emptied out, you have unlimited possibilities. Mm-hmm.
But is that something you feel in a time of transition?
Yeah, very much. You know, it's part of the process.
Kind of like I said, you've got somewhere to focus on. You can look outward and see the options and start making plans.
Yeah.
I liked what Lynn said about your reaction depends so much on whether it's something you're controlling or something that is just coming from nowhere. Hard to prepare, hard to know how to react to that.
Yeah. I think that's why, you know, there's always going to be grief involved, but, you know, you could stay there, I suppose. But then it's like, what do you do with the emptiness? You have to fill it somehow. And it gives you choice whether you chose a situation or not.
Lori and Doug, anything to add?
The dog says it well with change, barking and wagging her tail at the same time.
In a state of liminality of some kind, whether it's, I don't know what to make for dinner, something as simple as that, to I need to end a relationship of some kind, or I just lost my job. These times in our lives are constant, and we have each other to help us through. And Brandy is going to light another candle for all the joys and concerns that we hold in our hearts, all those times that we are confused and don't know exactly which way we're going. Thank you. Congregational life is always in flux, always in liminal space. If the congregation is healthy, it is always smart to take stock and to do some strategic planning. So that's what's going to happen next. After we sing our closing hymn and carry the flame, it'll be time for us to go into Keeler Hall and think about the liminal space that we are in now. And where do we're going to go and get salad and come back here. Okay. I got the first step right. It's all very much liminality. But Karen and Andrew know what we're doing. So They are your leaders. Karen and the rest of the team, and I think Andrew is helping out. Okay. So may your time be fruitful and helpful. May you put your ideas out there. Don't be afraid to put your ideas out there, even if you haven't been coming for very long. Your ideas are important. For it is the basis of ideas and visions from which wonderful things can happen here. So may it be. Amen. And we will close out this service with "Come and Go With Me to This Land." Please rise in body or in spirit.
And before we go, we'll extinguish our flame. So I'll ask Ruth to come back up. This is called "Life Begins Small and Grows" by Cynthia Ryland. Life is not always easy. There will probably be a stretch of wilderness now and then. But wilderness eventually ends. And there is always a new road to take. Remember this: in every corner of the world, there is something to love and something to protect. And if one day it seems nothing beautiful will ever come your way again, lost my spot. Trust the rabbit in the field and the deer who crosses the path. Trust the wolf and the wild geese who find their way back home. All these know something about life, that everything is changing. And it is worth waking up in the morning to see what might happen, because life begins small and grows. Thank you, Ruth.
I'd like to thank everyone for being here this morning. You here in the sanctuary, and you online, and you in our future when you watch on YouTube. It is such a pleasure to be here with you. I'd also like to make folks aware that there are an awful lot of people behind the scenes that make these services possible. The tech team, not behind the scenes, but I'd like to thank our musician and service leader for doing such a wonderful job this morning, and for the tech team. And there's lots of people we don't see that aren't here that take part in every service. So thanks to all of them. I'll be offering a benediction, then we'll sing "Carry the Flame." And if you, as you're going to get some food and come back here, the Sister Rosetta Tharp will be playing the "Over My Head." And so that will be fun to watch as you're coming in and out. And I offer you these words of benediction. Do not be dismayed by the brokenness of the world. Things break. They can break. And sometimes they can be mended. Not always, but sometimes they can be mended. But not with time, as they say. With intention. So go and love intentionally. Go out into the world and love extravagantly. And go and love unconditionally, for the broken world waits in darkness for the light that is within you. Go in peace, gentle people. Go in peace. Amen. And let us sing our linking song, Carry the Flame. We form a sort of circle, and you don't have to hold hands if you don't want to.